It was a crisp Monday morning, the kind that usually buzzed with energy in the towering glass headquarters of Blackstone Enterprises. But that day, something unusual happened. At exactly 9:03 a.m., the elevator doors slid open, not to reveal a polished assistant or sharply dressed executive, but a small, curly-haired girl clutching a faded cleaning rag. Her shoes squeaked on the marble floor as she made her way past rows of startled employees. No one stopped her. No one knew why she was here. She didn't belong, at least not in the eyes of this world. But she had a reason, a powerful one. The girl's name was Emily. She was only 8 years old, but her world had been shaped by struggle and responsibility far beyond her years. Her mother, Sarah, had worked as a cleaner in this very skyscraper for nearly a decade, invisible to most of the high-powered men and women who walked its halls. For Emily, mornings usually meant the rustle of her school uniform and the scent of toast before she hurried out the door. But that morning, everything was different. When she woke, she found her mother slumped in bed, pale and trembling with fever. Sarah tried to wave her off, muttering that she'd call in sick, but Emily's mind was already racing. She thought of the rent due in 2 weeks, the overdue electricity bill, the way her mother's hands cracked from scrubbing office floors night after night. She thought of the look in her mother's eyes when she believed no one was watching, a mix of exhaustion and quiet fear. So Emily decided, if her mom couldn't go, she would. She slipped into her mother's oversized work shirt, stuffed the cleaning rag into her small backpack, and took the bus into the city. She didn't know what she'd face. She didn't know if anyone would yell at her or send her home. But she knew this: her mother never quit, and neither would she. The lobby of Blackstone Enterprises was overwhelming. Gleaming marble floors stretched endlessly, reflecting the golden morning light pouring in from the glass facade. Every corner seemed to hum with purpose, phones ringing, footsteps echoing, the faint aroma of expensive coffee in the air. Emily kept her head down, gripping the strap of her backpack. The cleaning staff entrance was at the far end, but before she could make it there, a tall man in a suit stepped into her path. His eyes flicked from her tiny frame to the ID badge hanging loosely from her neck, her mother's badge. You're not," he began, but Emily just mumbled, "I'm here for my mom," and shuffled past before he could stop her. She took the service elevator to the top floor, her mother's assigned area, where the offices of the company's most powerful executives gleamed with glass walls and polished desks. She'd seen them once before, when her mom had brought her to work after school. But this time, they felt intimidating. The CEO's office door was open. Inside, a tall man with silver-streaked hair stood behind a massive mahogany desk, scanning documents. His suit was tailored, his watch gleamed, and his expression was carved from stone. Emily froze. This was Richard Blackstone, the man whose name was on the building. She had no plan for this. But when he looked up, his gaze locking on hers, something inside her urged her to step forward. "What are you doing here?" His voice wasn't cruel, but it carried the weight of someone used to being obeyed. She swallowed hard. "My mom's sick," she said, pulling the rag from her backpack. "So I came instead." For a long moment, he just stared at her. Then, without a word, he stepped out from behind the desk and crouched down, so he was eye level with her. The air felt heavy. "Do you even know what your mom does here?" he asked quietly. Emily nodded. "She cleans up after people. Make everything nice so you can work." The words were simple, but they hit him harder than she could have known. Richard didn't say anything right away. Instead, he walked past her into the hallway, signaling for his assistant to come over. "Cancel my morning meetings," he said, his voice firm, but strange, almost soft, underneath. Strange, almost soft, underneath. Emily followed him as he led her not to the cleaning supply closet, but to the break room. He poured her a glass of orange juice and set it in front of her. "Drink," he said. Then he asked her questions. About school, about her mother, about the life they lived outside these glass walls. Emily answered simply, without complaint, but every detail seemed to paint a picture he couldn't ignore. Her mom was walking home late at night in the cold, skipping meals to make sure Emily ate. Smiling through exhaustion so Emily wouldn't worry, Richard listened, really listened, in a way he wasn't used to. He was a man who signed contracts worth millions, but at that moment, the story of one overworked single mother seemed far more important than any deal. After a long silence, he stood. "Come with me," he said. They walked into the open plan office where dozens of employees sat typing. Richard raised his voice so everyone could hear. "This is Emily," he began. "She came here today because her mother is sick. Her mother, Sarah, has been cleaning this building for 10 years. I wonder, how many of you have ever thanked her?" The room was silent. Eyes dropped to desks. Richard's gaze swept the room. "From today forward, Sarah will no longer work here as cleaning staff. She'll be joining our facilities management team. Full benefits, better hours, higher pay." Emily's eyes widened. She didn't understand all the words, but she understood enough. That evening, when Sarah opened the door to find her daughter standing beside Richard Blackstone, she nearly fainted. Emily blurted out the story before Richard could explain. And by the time she finished, Sarah's eyes were brimming with tears. "This isn't charity," Richard told her. "It's overdue recognition." Over the following weeks, Sarah's life began to shift. No more late-night bus rides, no more aching knees from scrubbing floors. She had a desk now, a schedule that allowed her to be home for dinner, and a paycheck that covered the bills without fear. And Emily? She never forgot that day. Not because a millionaire changed her mother's life, but because it taught her something deeper. That sometimes, speaking up and showing up can crack open doors you never knew existed. Months later, on a sunny afternoon, Emily walked past the building again, holding her mother's hand. The gold letters on the front still read Blackstone Enterprises, but to Emily, it meant something more now. It was a place where her mother's worth had finally been seen. And maybe, just maybe, it was a reminder that even in a world where the powerful often overlook the invisible, one act of humanity can change everything. Final takeaway: injustice isn't always loud. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, in the quiet corners where people work unseen. But the moment we choose to see them, truly see them, we start to change the story.